Hello everybody, and welcome to Left of Meta. This is a series where I try and highlight decent to good sets that can be good for newer players due to the ease of acquiring them compared to the more high-end meta sets such as Reliquin, Sororia, or Yolnahkrin. Couple of ground rules for these sets: they have to be from Overland, PvP, or the base game dungeons. If they're PvP or Overland, they have to be relatively cheap on guild stores. And these sets won't be the most common in higher levels of play, but they will be tested alongside more meta sets. For stamina DPS, those will be the Leviathan set from Crypt of Hearts and the Maelstrom Bow. For Magicka DPS, those will be Mother's Sorrow from Deshawn and the Maelstrom Staff. For healers, that will be Spell Power Cure from White Gold Tower, and for tanks, it will be Ebon Armory from Crypt of Hearts. If other sets are used in the video, that will be noted in the video's description, as well as before we get into the set description. The tank in this video also includes the set Lord Warden from Imperial City Prison. The healer in this video also is wearing the set Symphony of Blades from the Depths of Malatar dungeon.
And with that out of the way, let's roll into today's set.
Today's set is called Armor of the Seducer. It is a crafted set that requires 3 traits researched to craft, and is found on the Temple of the Eight in Grotwood, Fisherman's Isle in Stormhaven, and Baronzon's Mine in Deshawn. This set grants the following bonuses. At 2 items, it grants 129 Magicka recovery. At 3 items, it grants 1096 maximum Magicka. At 4 items, it grants 129 Magicka recovery. And at 5 items, it reduces the cost of your Magicka abilities by 10%. This is a really, really good set if you're starting out on one of the supports. So, supports are your tank and your healer, because the tank is supporting your team by soaking damage, and your healer is supporting your team by keeping them alive, and admittedly, both are supporting your team by buffing and debuffing, because if you're not doing that on a tank or a healer, you're doing your job wrong. But this set is important because it gives us the ability as newer players to keep a high enough Magicka total to keep the rest of the team alive. As a healer, this means that we're pushing out more heals, more combat prayers, more rejuvenations, more grand healings, and more orbs or shards depending on what class you are. We're putting out more heals and more support synergies with this set, which means our team is alive longer and, hopefully, if we're doing our job right, killing them faster. As a tank, this gives you more self-heals and utility skills. So more chains, more roots, more self-heals, more damage shields. Which means we can stay in the fight and lock down our enemies more often. This means that it is much easier for your DPS to kill them, and therefore makes the fight go by faster. And a faster fight means fewer mistakes, which means fewer deaths. So this is a very basic set, and as you can guess, it doesn't exactly have downsides of its own, but it does have downsides in comparison to some of our other options. Thinking about this set as a support character, this does nothing for your team. Compare it to, say, Spell Power Cure, or Ebon Armory, or Worm's Raiment, all of which will be talked about in a later video at some point. All this does is makes you better at applying the buffs from either like Spell Power or Yolnahkrin, or from any other sets you're running, and doesn't actually buff your team itself. So Seducer is a very, very good set when you are starting out as a support character. That said, You basically want to replace this as soon as you get another set that does buff your party, because the more you buff your party, the more damage they put out, and therefore the faster fights go and the less mistakes you as the support player make. All in all, Armor of the Seducer can be thought of as a set of training wheels. Use them when you're starting out, replace them once you get better tools, and move on from there. Again, it's not a bad set, it's just not as good as some of our other options, but it's really good when you're just starting out and need to understand what you're doing. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you next week, where we will be talking about the set Legacy of Karth. I hope to see you all then, and until then, have fun, good luck, and don't die.